Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Alex Squared. I'm Alex Ward, broker owner of Maxwell Devonshire Realty, and this is Alex Edwards of PostNow Media, I'm assuming, but PostNow talking to us today about the power of direct mail. If you don't know who Alex Edwards is, well, she's a rock star. She used to be with Maxwell Realty and now is on to other wonderful things. But that's why she is out here today to talk to you. Pose your questions down below. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But why am I taking up all the time, really, when you should be listening to her? Alex, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thanks for that, Alex. I appreciate the introduction. I'm just going to get my screen all fired up here. So presumably you can all see the presentation okay. As Alex Ward mentioned, I am going to be talking to you today about the power of direct mail. So, in a world where digital content reigns supreme, it's everything. I want to take it back a little bit and just kind of cover the finer points of tangible direct mail marketing. So, without further ado, here we go. All right. So, I'm just going to throw my contact information. If you guys have any questions after the fact, here's how you reach me. If you have any other comments or concerns, that's the information, and I'll put it up after the presentation as well. But let's jump right in. Direct mail is making a comeback. And you guys, this is so exciting for any of you who ever attended any of my Maxwell trainings. You know that I am a big supporter of an integrated marketing approach, which means, touching your audiences in all sorts of different ways. And one of the ways I love the most is direct mail. So it's making a comeback, and we're going to explore why a little bit. So for a while, everything was digital based. The cost per impression was so low. It was so easy to create these digital marketing campaigns. But then along came March of 2020 and the pandemic hit, and we noticed a shift to virtual online everything. Almost all of our face to face interaction was limited to Zoom meetings, Skypes, and that kind of thing. And that left a population feeling what we call digital fatigue. So, there was this longing for a personalized connection, with your friends, families, your consumers, your audiences. The next thing is digital mail is able to be personalized in a way that it wasn't before. So instead of just getting, unaddressed mail, which you can still do, there's all sorts of variable printing out there that allows you to speak directly to your audiences and customize your marketing pieces in a way that you couldn't before. So that's something that's super unique to direct mail and printing. The next thing is enhanced targeting capabilities. So you would not believe how specific we can be with demographics when we're sending direct mail to certain audiences. The ability to pick sending to homes of a certain age, targeting downsizers, upsizers, young professionals, young families, people transitioning into smaller homes. The world is your oyster, and this is something that we didn't see previously. So as direct mail evolves and the power of the targeting evolves, we have this entity, this powerhouse that gives people a tangible piece of marketing in their mailbox in a highly targeted way, which is super, super cool. The next thing is you can integrate it with digital campaigns. So a few years back, I was lucky enough to go to Inman in New York, and I heard the CEO of Reology speak at the time, and he pushed for what he called a marketing in a multitude of mediums. So however many ways we can touch points with our consumers or our audiences is ideal, right? And so the idea of combining a purely digital marketing strategy with something tangible like direct mail has an immense impact on your consumers. Something to the, let me just pull up my stats here. So consumers had a 40% higher brand recall when direct mail followed a digital ad. And 72% of millennials actually said that online ads were okay, But when it was followed up with a direct mail piece, it actually prompted them to go online and find out more information about who was sending it. People trust direct mail. Anybody can throw up an online advertisement, but there's quite a bit of vetting that goes along with sending a tangible mail piece. And so it's like instant credibility right in the mailbox. And that's why we're seeing such a high number of agents rush back to direct mail because it does give that tangible, piece that they like to see. So, in order to understand kind of how you can use direct mail for your real estate business, you've got to understand the different types of direct mail that you can send here in Canada. So there are three main types. The first being personalized mail, the second being postal code targeting, and the third being neighborhood mail. That's probably the one we're the most familiar with. So I'm going to go into a little bit greater detail on each of these types, and you can figure out how that applies to your real estate business. All right, so personalized mail. This is a one-to-one connection. So this would be something like a company like mine, PostNow, taking your database and sending content to your past clients or potential clients, anyone that you've amassed in that sphere of influence over the years. And this one-to-one connection is you speaking directly to them. So think of a really nice addressed piece with their name on it, tailored to the recipient. That's your first kind of direct mail that you can send. Second is going to be postal code targeting. So, postal code targeting you can think of as a one to few marketing connection. So, here in Alberta and across Canada, we typically see 10 to 15 houses on an individual postal code. So, we can send to very select pockets of people. When you look into, larger metropolises like downtown here in Edmonton or Vancouver, Toronto, whatever the case may be, you'll find entire condo buildings that have one shared postal code. So it means you can talk directly to the community members within that condo building. So postal code targeting is really, really powerful if you want to look at being very specific and very intentional in the geographical areas that you're marketing. And last but not least is neighborhood mail. And this is a one to many connection. And this is kind of the traditional direct mail that we think of when we think sending mail. So these are unaddressed pieces that are going to go out to an entire postal walk. So the entire route that the postal carrier is delivering to. They will go and they will pop your marketing in each of the mailboxes or the community mailboxes, and you can reach, tons of people that way. So the three different ways that you can send direct mail are really important to consider when you're thinking about what type of content you want to send out. Are you talking to people you know? Are you talking to a very select small group of people? Or are you trying to make a marketing message that's all encompassing and going out to a very large demographic? Um, Next up, we have how to be successful when you're sending direct mail. So, and this is when I talk to agents, one of the things I like to encourage is in order to achieve success with direct mail, you have to think beyond the just listed and just sold postcards. They are absolutely phenomenal for getting your work out there, showing what you've done in a neighborhood, but what they're missing is frequency. So when we talk about how to create a successful direct mail campaign, it's important to know that your marketing messages are never going to stick the first time. We know that it can take anywhere from 5 to 10 points of communication with your audiences for that information to be retained in their brain and to have you be top of mind when considering buying or selling a home. So in our experience, which goes back about 30 years with our sister company, One to One Mailing, we notice the highest level of returns coming in on your fifth mail campaign. So when you think of a just listed or a just sold postcard, they're great, but they don't necessarily leave a lot of room for additional pieces to be going out. So when you're thinking of how to use direct mail successfully, you've got to think in a larger sense, right? So taking a look at 6 months worth of campaigns, but it's really challenging to come up with content for those type of things. And the content is where that engagement comes from. So we know that consumers are getting anywhere from 6 to 10,000 advertising messages thrown at them every single day. And that's a fairly large amount of noise to try and, quiet and figure out what you want to derive from a marketing message as a consumer. So when you're creating these campaigns, thinking beyond those just listed, just sold are so powerful. So for example, I don't know how many of you have actually walked into a house to do a showing and seen a realtor notepad stuck to, the fridge, or a picture of a home with a calendar on it and the realtor branding. These are all super successful examples of direct mail campaigns that are beyond those just listed, just sold. Because the idea is, how long can we keep that content in the hands of the consumer? And a just listed, just sold postcard, very good for getting your name and branding out there. But if there's no strong call to action or no value for that end consumer, it can be really, really challenging to have that piece stick around, right? It can go right into the recycling bin. So when you're thinking about how to be successful with direct mail, we have to think outside the box in terms of the pieces that you're sending. So, for example, people live for the neighborhood mail notepads that come in the mail, or, calendars with back to school information, hockey schedules. You know your audience is best. You know the consumers that you're trying to reach. So, really tapping into that knowledge and coming up with a product that you can mail to them that will stick around in their homes is absolutely crucial. So, one of the most successful campaigns I've ever seen was holiday gift tags. So around the holiday season, beginning of December, you send out a sheet of gift tags that say to, from, and your consumers can peel those off and put them right on your presents. But your branding is right across the top. So the point of all of this is to say that the world is your oyster. If you can conceive it and you can dream it, there is a company, probably like ours, that can print it for you. It's just a matter of thinking outside that box. And I would encourage you to, you know, really, really hone in on what you think is going to add value to the consumer's experience. All right. So, the next thing you do is you send out a piece, and then you think to yourself, well, how do I track engagement? How do I know what information is coming in, based on these postcards or this content that I'm sending out via direct mail? And there's a few ways to do that. And I always like to start with the freebies. There are obviously paid options as well, but I think it's more realistic for agents to start with free. So there are unique QR code generators. So on any of your mail pieces, you can integrate unique QR codes where you can actually log in and see where these leads are coming from, how many people have scanned the QR code, and the information that's been captured when that scan happens. Next is personalized URLs. So, there are a lot of free options out there that will allow you to create, a domain, www.alexward.com/, 6 grand Dora Crescent, right? You're advertising a specific property, and you can actually log in to these URL creators and track how many people are clicking on specific links. So if you have a multitude of campaigns that are going out, you can actually track kind of that content those connections that are coming back in. Call tracking is another really, really important one. If you're an agent who gets a high volume of calls because you're doing a ton of different forms of marketing, it never hurts to have a specialized phone number dedicated to your direct mail pieces, which again, then you can track any of those leads that are coming in through the contact information on whatever it is you're sending out. And, last but not least, a lot of you out there are using really, really advanced CRMs to, track your databases and have all of that information kind of segregated into one place. Well, a lot of these CRMs will actually offer some type of integration with your marketing. So, whether that is the unique QR code, whether that is the personalized URLs, and it will take that information and it will filter any lead captured information right back into your CRM, making it super, super easy for you to kind of track where these leads are coming from. Again, especially important if you're looking at that integrated marketing approach. So I guess probably the nitty-gritty of it is that you can expect a 3 to 4% return, like ROI, on your direct mail pieces. So we know that it's going to take about 5 months for your message, or 5 points of communication drops, as we call them. It's going to take about five to get your message out to people. But after that point, you can look at getting a 3 to 4% return on any of this marketing that you're sending out. That's such a high rate compared to digital or online advertising. You're just not going to find that. And the truth of the matter is that people just really like having something tangible, something that can stick around. And something that they deem trustworthy. And, by partnering with Canada Post, this is a company that's been in existence for 250 years. They have a ton of credibility in the market. And instantaneously, by sending out marketing using that means, it just adds to your credibility. So I think probably what I would recommend if you're looking to just get started out with a direct mail company, whether it's ours or whether you're going to take a do it yourself approach, is a few things to look at. One, make sure whoever you're using allows you to use your really, really great Maxwell Realty postage rate. Our company does. You can also use it yourself on Precision Targeter. The second thing would be to look for a piece of marketing that you would enjoy getting in the mail. So, first of all, make sure you have the cost savings with your postage. Make sure you're sending out content that you yourself would enjoy receiving. So, again, whether that's calendars, notepads, recipe cards, something that you think would stick around in your house. Make sure you're creating that kind of content. Supplement those pieces with your just listeds, your just solds, and making sure that you have a really strong call to action. So, my boss has this one line that is so simple, but it blows me away every time. He'll get a piece of direct mail marketing in the mail. He will pick it up. It will not have a strong call to action. And he'll go, now what? What am I supposed to do with this piece? So, making sure that you have a clear call to action. You know exactly what you're asking that consumer to do when they pick up the piece. And those are kind of all the elements of a successful direct mail campaign. So, get your postage discount, you know, create 6 months worth of content, make sure it's content you would want to receive and have in your home, and make sure that your consumers know what to do when they picked up the piece. So it could be calling you for a market evaluation, could be calling you for information on buying a home in a certain area. Whatever the case may be, just make sure you're very, very clear. So that's kind of my general spiel. I wanted to keep it under 20 minutes today, just wet your whistles a little bit. And, at the end of the day, I'd love to help you, whether you're taking a DIY approach or whether you want to go with a full service company like PostNow.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. Always a pleasure to see you. If you have more questions, make sure that you reach out to Alex directly. We're going to post her contact info at the bottom of this YouTube. As of course, you can watch the beginning of the video where she posted all at the start. But make sure you hit that like, make sure you smash those subscribe buttons. I'm Alex Ward, broker owner of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. This was Alex Edwards of PostNow, and we look forward to talking to you later. See you, everyone.